Closed captioning for the Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh yeah, Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
Today we visit the new location for Menagerie, the thrift store that benefits the Animal Welfare League. And I prepare shaved Brussels sprout salad. But first, for 100 years, the stars have shone brightly at the Youngstown Playhouse. The Youngstown Playhouse celebrates its 100th anniversary on June 21st. The gala, where the stars shine bright, promises to be an amazing night, and the organizers have planned an evening not to be missed.
Once I built a railroad, made it run, made it race against time. Once I built a railroad, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime?
Well, of course, Rick Blackson is going to be a part of the big celebration for the Playhouse. You have to remember him. He's been in so many theatrical productions.
When I read Jack Ballantyne's book, Where the Stars Still Shine, which is the basis for the title of the show, Where the Stars Shine Bright, which can get a little confusing, I was so impressed, and I said, wow, there is so much information of things that I had no idea about this place. Jack and I prepared an outline for John Cox and the board, and we talked about how we could take and reduce and redact his book and break it down into decades that the Playhouse has been in existence, the 1920s, 30s, and so forth. And we'd be able to create a narrative that would be able to pull some of the real fun stories, interesting things about the directors.
That's a lot of material. Think about 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, is it the plays or is it more of a historical look too?
Well, it's a combination. It's a combination of things. And the way that we decided that we would do it is we're going to have the main part of the stage be the big giant screen.
Right.
And Jack had gone through the archives for 8 years here, and he pulled hundreds and hundreds of photographs. So we're going to be showing these photographs, and there'll be musical background on the piano and then we have Playhouse veterans who will be reading the narrative, a male and female narrator for every decade. And then sprinkled in will be performances by Playhouse veterans and younger people and an ensemble of people singing mostly very, very well-known Broadway songs.
Dr. John Cox. He is the board chairman here at the Playhouse, but most importantly, a former Grand Marshal of the Mahoning Valley St. Patrick Parade.
Absolutely, absolutely. With Ms. Maureen Collins, who holds the record as the 3-year term.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
And this 100-year anniversary is just so important, I think, for the Valley and for this facility.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's no other theater in the area, in the country, that's been 100 consecutive years of theater. And I never wanted to see the place go away, so that's why I've been fighting so hard, and it's been great that we've been slowly but surely gaining steam.
Exactly.
It's been nice.
I mean, the
It's been very
renovations
nice.
are very noticeable.
Thank you.
And then your expansion.
70 seats in the Moyer, we got about 450 upstairs in the auditorium, so now we're going to take over the 3rd floor of the Morley building, where the Valley Western Reserve is, and that's about a 150-seat house that we'll have there, and we'll be downtown.
And that is a sweet spot,
It's a sweet spot,
that is for those smaller shows.
Smaller plays, more intimate plays. So this gives us the opportunity to do a little bit more and allow us to bring in different theater companies to provide not just our theater and our productions, but then other productions of other community theaters.
And then, I love that you are also partnered with Deor.
Yes.
Because Beautiful and your bigger productions, Color Purple.
Yeah.
And then that is so nice that you have their box office, so you're just combining.
Correct. It makes it centralized for the audience members. And it makes it easy for tickets and things like that. And it's great to be partnered up with those guys and get their experience for some of the administrative things that we need. We do it for fun. We do it for no money, and people have done it well before us for no money. So it's the love of the thing, it's the passion of it, and that's people want to be involved in it. We want them all to come back. That's bringing people together. That's what theater's supposed to do.
Well, Maureen, you have been a huge musical influence in my life.
Aww.
Really? Remember? You came
I know.
and you were the music teacher at St. Christine's.
That's right. You and I have been singing together for years. I'm so proud of all you do.
All the plays you guys put on, and then you just...
Some of the alumni that are coming are people I worked with in the early years, my early years here, and then some of the young faces that I'm working with now are a part of the youth theater here. Man, making an impression on young people and giving them the inspiration to come here, that's what this place was for me, an inspiration. So when I was asked to star alongside Brooke May in Beautiful at the beginning of the season, Mike Moritz had reached out, and I went, oh my gosh,
You were the stage mom, although not really
I was her mother, and I was
right.
way too old to be her mother, but my gosh, what an experience and how that came together. So to start out the season so beautifully, and then now to end out their season, but there's gonna be lots of people here that are gonna spark a memory, and a lot of people will pay tribute to that aren't here anymore. You know, a lot of people that took my heart with them when they left. But their pictures are all over. So I'm hoping people will join us.
So Jack, you are like the historian for the Youngstown
Right.
Playhouse, and you wrote the book about the 100 years.
Correct.
What began your involvement with the Youngstown Playhouse?
Oh, wow. That goes back to 1973. I'm one of the few people that was here for both the 50th and the 100th. Okay. If I make it that far.
You will. You got another month.
Exactly.
You're going to make it.
When I came here in '73, Bentley Lenhoff put me on as assistant stage manager for Night Watch, I think it was. That was my first show here, and I just kept doing shows from then on. I mean, I've been in and out of town, but for 50 years I've been doing shows here.
Of all the shows, what really stands out that you've directed or been involved with?
Oh, wow.
Can you give me some that really stand out?
That's a tough question because there have been so many. Most recently, probably Beautiful.
Oh,
that
was amazing.
At the Dior, but it was still, for a community theater, to mount that and to do it, it was impressive.
Well, a lot of these memories, I'm sure you put into the production we're going to see on the 21st.
Right.
How hard was that to get that all together? I mean, that was quite a task.
Well, the main trouble we had, is there is so much stuff in the book. It's a 500 and some page book. And to cut it all down and try and get it into a 2.5 hour show, I mean, there is tons more that we cut than what we're using, which is pretty typical for any kind of media type of thing that you're doing, a movie or a film or anything.
What could we expect from that show?
I think a lot of surprises. We're going to do a few little tricks that probably people aren't expecting, and people coming back from the past. People like Dana Snyder's coming in. Not she won't be in the show, but she choreographed many shows here. She'll be in the audience. Janice Aubrey will be here. I mean, a lot of people from the past are coming back. Debbie Switney, who did a lot of shows here, is going to be one of the narrators. And her husband, John Morgan, also did shows here. So we have a lot of musical numbers from shows that were done here. And even some character things. Some characters from the past in the Playhouse that had memorable quotes. So we're going to have people come out and portray those characters just real briefly. So it's going to be a lot of surprises.
Now it's done. Say, brother, can you spare a dime?
Just stay in your own lane. The Casey Malone Show will be right back after this.
MyMe Global is your premier local resource for all things 3D. At MyMe, we make 3D portraits of you, your pets, and cake toppers. Or witness your child's growth year over year and get their graduation MyMe for free. Photos don't last, but a MyMe lasts a lifetime. Visit the MyMe store, located in the Round Glass building on Belmont. Get your own 3D printer, where we assemble, repair, and get it running right. We even give you a discount on materials. At MyMe, we know 3D.
It's patio season at Carmela's. Enjoy our family's traditional Italian favorites and creative daily specials. We're open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday. Carmela's on Western Reserve Road in Boardman.
This is GABA Camp, barrier-free camping and nature for our friends with disabilities. Thank you for for your generous donations. We now have our first phase, but more work needs to be done. A lodge will provide a meeting place and food service for our adults with disabilities and their families. GABA Camp is a 501c3 organization. We need your help to grow. Donate to GABA Camp. Giving is living.
Weight loss goals aren't one size fits all. At Hurricane Health and Wellness, we understand the struggle. We've been there too. That's why we offer the most popular, effective weight loss medications at an affordable price. Look and feel your best today with Hurricane Health and Wellness.
Locally sourced is good, whether it's ingredients or a bank. And that's why my bank is Farmers National Bank. Since 1887, Farmers has remained rock solid through every economic condition. Having a bank with a history of safety, soundness, and conservative management is a must. It all boils down to this. You need a bank that will help you reach your goals. I do too, and Farmers is mine. Farmers National Bank, rock solid. Today I am putting together a really quick recipe. It is my shaved Brussels sprouts salad. And you know, they seem to always be in season now, where it used to just be a winter vegetable. But I really like them in the oven, baked at a high temperature where they're nice and crispy. And there's really not a whole lot of other ways to prepare them, but this shaved salad is really good. It takes away the bite of the Brussels sprouts because it's so finely chopped. I used a mandolin on the very thinnest setting to get just the right shred. And very few ingredients, and I think a lot of it, the flavor comes from the salad dressing. I just love this dressing. So let's go over the ingredients and we will get this salad started. For this recipe, you'll need 1 pound of Brussels sprouts shaved thin, a 1/4 cup of fresh parsley chopped, a 1/2 cup of sliced almonds toasted, 1/2 cup of craisins chopped, and 1/2 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. For the dressing, you'll need a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, the juice and zest from 1 lemon, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, 1 shallot minced, 1 teaspoon of honey, and salt and pepper to taste. Well, before we start the salad, I'm going to assemble the ingredients for the dressing. We are going to start with the lemon juice. That is going to be our acid. And then just to give it a little brightness, I am also using the zest from that lemon. And I think that really is going to add a nice little punch. And of course, for a little bit of a minder, we'll use the Dijon mustard. Love Dijon mustard. Then we're also going to use a shallot that I've chopped pretty fine. So instead of being in the salad, it will be in the dressing. And that mellows it just a little bit, but it still gives it a little bite. And then some honey, just a teaspoon, and we will put that in there. And honey is also a nice binder, but it really takes away the sharpness. And just a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And what we'll do is we'll adjust that salt and pepper after we assemble the salad. So I'm just gonna mix this together and give it a nice whisk and see how nice, and it just emulsifies really nice. And I think that's part of it from the honey and the mustard. So there we go. It's a nice thick dressing. And we will just set this aside. And then we are going to assemble this. I used a mandolin, which is just one of the scariest kitchen tools, right? You have to be really careful, pick off the really hard, leaves on the outside. And then of course you don't want the stem. So you just can hold the stem, but be careful, or just use that to hold it. So, but look how nice and thin it is. It's really, really pretty. Then we're just gonna add the rest of the ingredients. The parsley adds a nice little sweetness to it. And then I like these chopped, my craisins, because you get more out of it instead of just one big craisin. You get like a bunch of little ones. And then we'll put that in. Toasted almonds, every single salad has to have a little crunch. So I've toasted some sliced almonds. And for the salt, this is really good. This is shredded Parmesan. Also adds that nutty little taste. So we just put all of these in together. And then we are going to take the dressing. See, make sure it's really nice and mixed. And then we just pour this all over, get every last drop out. And this is one of those salads that actually tastes better about a half hour to an hour later. So we are gonna just mix this all together and make sure it hits every part of the salad. I swear to God, I make such a mess. All right, so it's all mixed. We're gonna let this sit for about 15 minutes or so, and then we're gonna come back and taste it. And believe me, you are going to love it. So, you really like this salad, don't you?
I love salad, sure.
It's just a measly little salad, but it's so
It is
with
yeah.
flavor. And it really is easy, except for the scary mandolin, you know. But this has been sitting for about a half hour. So I want to taste it to make sure that the seasonings are right. And it really is good. I mean, it really sucks up the dressing, but I think it needs a little more salt.
Okay.
Okay. Excuse me.
So not a table thing. You're just going to decide that on your own?
I am deciding that on my own. Big girl is making her own decisions now, Kenny boy.
Got it.
There we go. So,
looking forward to this.
Up. And I've done a couple versions of this. I use vinegar or not, but I think the lemon is the better ass.
Is there bacon in that?
No, but you know what? Bacon would be good.
Okay.
And you know what else you brought up that might be really good? For protein.
Yeah. Garbanzo beans.
The garbanzo beans or...
You should play with it.
A northern bean.
Play with the bean.
The bean.
Okay.
It is good for you.
So this must be a New Year's resolution or something because there's no cocktail here, or?
No, you know what? It's a salad.
Okay.
Everything goes good with salad.
Sure.
Have a beer.
All right.
Have a ginger ale.
Later.
Have a lemonade.
Let's
Here
see.
you go. Okay.
Wow. It's really light.
It's really good. And let me tell you, even the next day, as long as you don't overdress it, it really does hold its crunch. And I mean, it is really, really good. It's versatile. I mean, whatever you would like to put in it. If you think it needs more of this or less of that. Put apples in it, pears.
I still think it needs the bacon.
Bacon.
Okay.
It really works out well. It's almost like cabbage, but lighter, a little sweeter. All right, so you're approved?
I approve it. Sure, absolutely.
Has the 2 thumbs up from Ken, and it's really easy. You saw how quickly it comes together. Go to my website, CaseyMaloneShow.com, and look for the shaved Brussels sprout salad.
I'm gonna write that down. That CaseyMaloneShow.com.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, sure.
You are really
I'll
going
check it
to
out.
enjoy it. The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
Hi, I'm John Stanko.
And I'm Robbie Fellman from Boardman Subaru, introducing the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester Hybrid.
The most fuel-efficient Forester ever with up to 40% better fuel economy.
And over 580 miles of driving range per tank of gas.
With increased horsepower and torque while being the lowest emissions Forester ever.
The Forester is one of the best-selling and most award-winning SUVs in America.
Test drive yours today at Boardman Subaru.
Just south of Route 224 on South Avenue.
I'm Elizabeth Bernard. For more than 30 years, I've provided our Valley with sound legal advice. My associate Jennifer Rigetti and I will be your legal representatives if you're involved in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident. Don't try to handle it yourself. We'll navigate the red tape of dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the obstacles that you'll face. Remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases, and hiring a lawyer does not mean you have to go to court.
Call attorney Elizabeth Bernard, local legal experience for more than 30 years.
You already know us for our top-tier windows, but what about our advanced gutter systems? With our Double Pro gutter filtration, 2 layers of industrial-grade aluminum keeps debris out of your gutters and drives rainwater away from your home. Plus, our continuous hanger technology reinforces your entire gutter system for maximum strength and drainage. And we'll install it all in as little as 1 day. Why wait for the next storm to get gutters that perform? Not only do we stand behind our gutters, we hang on them.
Tamara, we want to help you find a ring that's as unique as your love. We'll guide you through the entire process, from deciding between natural and lab-grown diamonds, discovering the perfect stone, to finding the setting that fits your style. And with our in-store repair services, we'll make sure your ring looks stunning for years to come. Whether you're looking for timeless elegance or a modern twist, we'll work with you and your price range to find the perfect ring.
Well, Menagerie has just opened. They have relocated to the Village Center Plaza here in Niles. It's the old Carlisle's. And you come right in and there is a huge, spacious area to sell your wares. Mandy is one of the directors. And this has been quite a task
It
for
has,
you.
absolutely it has.
So how long have you been planning this move?
We put the building up for sale, our old building up for sale, I believe in November of last year. We had someone in beginning of December that wanted to purchase it. We looked at several different locations. We were actually going to move to Robbins Avenue at a space, but then this one just came up and we came to look at it and I was like, holy cow, this is perfect. Perfect.
I mean, it's so accessible and for everyone to get in and out, and the parking is unbelievable.
Right, the parking was the issue at the old store.
I mean, this is really well organized. Thank you. And you've got so many different areas. How dependent is the Animal Welfare League, you know, on this store and the proceeds?
We are their highest fundraiser. I believe 56% of what we made last year went over to the shelter itself. And so what it is once we pay salaries, you know, electricity, things like that, every dime after that goes over there. So they're very dependent on what we do.
Now, I know you haven't been open that long. You know, we just had, you know, the grand opening. Right. How have you seen an increase in the foot traffic?
Absolutely, absolutely. Number one, definitely what I think has helped is the location and the parking. At the old business, we did not have enough parking at all. So people were super happy with the parking. So definitely seeing a lot more people. And
what other donations are you going to be able to receive now because of all this space?
We are actually going to be able to take in larger appliances, stoves, refrigerators, things like that. Wow. More furniture. We didn't have room for bigger furniture at the last location. So we now have a truck that we can use to pick up donations and drop off donations. But that'll be a game changer for us because we didn't have the space for the larger furniture at the other store.
You know, I think thrifting is so much more popular now.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, with all the clothing pollution and the, you know, fast fashion and all that stuff, people are, and especially for cookware and stuff.
Right.
I mean, this is really...
So I've thrifted my whole life. Both of my grandmothers got me into this, so I think that's why I have the calling. So I remember back in the day it was, people kind of frowned upon thrifting. They thought it was, oh, if you're poor.
Right.
Now, you know, with the economy and the way things are in the world, I think a lot more people are finding that it's the best way to go because you can come here and find brand new things at half the price. So I think a lot of people are trying to save money wherever they can, and thrifting is a big deal. And then the younger kids seem to really enjoy it too.
I think they do. I think they're a lot more conscious of the landfills and the fast fashion.
Absolutely.
You know, being a thrifter, what's one of your biggest gets that you just couldn't believe that you found?
When I was thrifting?
Yes.
I found a cookie jar without a lid that I found it at a Goodwill. I bought it for $2. I had my kitchen utensils in it for years. And then I actually was a reseller for a little bit before I started into the thrift business. And so I thought, well, let me look at this and see. It was a Bartlett Collins cookie jar from the 50s, and I sold it for $400 because it was super rare. And I had it sitting
and you were just sitting there
on my kitchen counter with all my big spoons in it, and I was like, oh, okay, you know. So
I gotta start paying attention to this stuff.
Right, so yeah, that was a big deal for me, big deal.
Well, we are right here with the CEO, Bethany, of the Animal Welfare League here in Trumbull County. Where did the name Menagerie come from? Because it really worked. You have everything here.
Yeah.
Who started the name?
So it's a perfect name for what we do here. The name came from Barb and Mary Busco, the twin sisters that started this store back in 1995.
So this really has a long history in Trumbull County.
Yep.
And this move, how much more do you think that will draw awareness to, the Animal Welfare League?
Well, we've only been open for a couple days and we're already seeing record numbers, high record numbers. So we're hoping that it's going to at least double what they brought into the organization last year.
Because this is more than 50% of your budget, right? That is what this money goes towards.
Right.
So you take the cats, you take the dogs, iguanas.
Yep, we've had,
ferrets,
we can take anything that we can legally house and adopt out.
What can't you take? Do you ever get any of the exotic animals?
So some of the exotics you do have to have special licensing for, but we've had iguanas, we've had tegus, we've had all kinds of reptiles, we've had farm animals, we've seen many.
And horses, like what would you do with a horse if you had one?
We are fortunate enough to partner with some other farm-based rescues that will take those for us because we don't have the proper housing for them at the shelter.
I was gonna say, you can't have the horse clomping through the shoulder.
Yeah, we would love it for a day maybe.
Yeah, for one day.
Our adoptions are great. We need them to continue to be great because more animals are waiting to come in.
Right, and then do you help with neutering and all those other services, like a reasonable vet service?
We have some programs that assist low-income families in our community with vet bills, spay neuter, pet food pantry, things like that.
So really, if you have an animal, there's no reason that animal should go hungry or not have the proper vet care.
Absolutely.
These animals need help and you're really the ones that come to the rescue for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we weren't in existence, a lot of animals would just continue to suffer, and that's the reason that we exist. So we want to make sure that we're trying to end suffering in our community for animals.
The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.